Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us today for our functional overview on onboarding. We'll get started in another minute or so. We're waiting for folks. They're filing in now to the webinar. So thank you for being here. We'll start shortly. Welcome, everyone. You're signed on to the webinar for the functional overview on onboarding. We'll get started in another 30 seconds or so. I see that folks are still joining in the webinar pretty fast and furious right now. So I'll give it another couple seconds and then we'll get started with today's functional overview. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. I see that folks are still joining the webinar. So while folks are trickling in now, I just wanted to go over a few points about our session today. First, we have enabled the live transcript and we are recording this session. You as a user, you have the option, you can turn on the live transcript or not, depending on what you'd like to do. Directions are there on the screen if you're unsure how to enable or disable that feature within Zoom. Second, as I noted, we are recording this session and it will be posted on the website once we get it remediated or fully transcribed and available. And lastly, we have disabled the chat feature for you all, but we have enabled the Q&A feature. And so we really encourage you to type in your questions as they come up about the content. We have a bunch of folks in the background that will be helping us answer those questions. So please, we encourage you to use that feature. And lastly, we will be doing a quick poll at the end. If you've been on one of our functional overviews before, it's a quick, short poll. We love to get a pulse read on what you all think. And we'll be having time for the question and answers at the end also. So again, welcome. We're excited to have everybody here. This is the Future of Onboarding in Workday and our functional overview. So thank you. Today, I'm joined by several people on the Elevate team. First is myself. My name is Gabe Bugenhagen. I'm the change management lead on the program. I joined Elevate about a year ago, and I've been on the College Park campus for around 15 years, I guess. So I'm excited to be on the team. Today, we also have Lee Ellis joining us. She'll be supporting us in the background with the presentation, helping me get my slide deck to move forward and backward. And you'll also hear Lee's voice in the demonstrations later on. So if you want to put a face to the name on the demo, that's Lee. We also have Karen Dieso today. She's our communications lead on the project. She's going to be our primary moderator for the question and answers. And last but not least, I'm so excited we have Joe Windsor joining us today. He is the benefits and onboarding lead, and he is going to be our featured speaker today, walking us through all kinds of great things about onboarding. So we welcome Joe to the session. Next slide. So what are functional overviews? Some of you on this call, you may have attended one of the prior sessions that we had. This is actually our fourth functional overview. And so many of you may already be familiar, but for anyone that's new joining us today, I just wanted to go over a few things about what you could expect over the next 45 minutes that you're with us. First off, these are designed with you in mind. We want you to see Workday. We want to be able to give you a sneak peek. Those of us on the Elevate program team, we've been hearing from you that you're really curious to see what Workday can do for you. And so this functional overview the functional overviews are an opportunity to get that the sneak peek about some of the features. These are going to be monthly sessions. We try to host them on the last Thursday of every month. And we stick to the 45 minutes time frame, trying to give you guys a chance to get back to your meetings that might be occurring at the top of the hour. And again, it's our preview system. This is not intended to be formal training. The formal training that you will get as an end user will be occurring in the spring of 23. Again, we try to keep these focused on a specific topic. So today's topic is onboarding. Coming up, we have topics that will include, time tracking or purchasing or how to use the learning module, different kinds of topics like that. And with that said, just one small caveat, this is our training. I'm sorry, this is it's our testing environment. And so things might be tweaked when we actually go live. Like, for example, you might see a banner across the top. The picture might change as we go into production next July. And again, I just want to reiterate the Q&A feature that we have going. Joe's going to be sharing some great content with us. It's going to spark some ideas or questions. Please use that Q&A feature in the webinar. And then at the end of the presentation, any questions or time available, we'll take live questions at that time as well. So the agenda. We've broken the agenda up into kind of three basic areas about the onboarding. The first one is we're going to discuss what led up or what leads up to the onboarding process. And then we'll be sharing some information about the onboarding, including some of the key benefits and the primary roles that are involved. And then we'll pivot a little bit and talk about onboarding from the manager's view. And we will be having a recorded demonstration on the onboarding setup from the manager's perspective. And then the last part is kind of flipping that again, looking at it, what many of you might be interested in, what does it look like from the employee's perspective? And again, we have a second demonstration of the system from the employee's view. And then the last part of the agenda, the last time that we have, will be for that question and answer. And now I'm excited that I get to turn it over to Joe, who will be our featured speaker today. Thanks, Joe.
Thanks, Gay. And again, thank you everyone for attending today. I'm Joe. I've been at College Park. This is, believe it or not, my 8th year. I have been on the Elevate project for about a year now. And today I'm going to talk to the group about the onboarding process within Workday. For an individual who went through the recruitment to hire process, they have already moved from a prospect to a candidate to a pre-hire, and now are finally ready to hire. In Workday, the recruiting process flows into the hire process, auto-populating fields that were filled in when the worker was a candidate. The hire process is when the salary, start date, and other key decisions are determined. Onboarding is a sub-process of hire. It kicks off during the hire process. New hires will experience a seamless onboarding experience with self-service tasks and instructions sent to their Workday inbox. These tasks can include updating contact information, identifying emergency contacts, completing Section 1 of the I-9, amongst other items. Any required approvals flow after they submit a task. Next slide. So what do you need to know? Onboarding provides new hires with self-service tasks and instructions sent to their Workday inbox. The employee can get access to Workday ahead of their start date. Onboarding tasks can be completed in 7 days in advance of their hire date after completion of their hire event. This allows for increased efficiency in the hire process. Onboarding impacts new hires brought into Workday, whether they go through recruiting or not. We're noting this because transfers from other entities will not go through Workday onboarding, as they will go through a different process in Workday called Change Job. New hires access the onboarding dashboard, a one-stop shop personalized onboarding experience. New employees can view their tailored welcome message, receive reminders to complete important action items, or to see a list of people to meet provided by their manager. And finally, any required approvals will trigger after the new hire submits the related task. For those involved in hiring and onboarding, you will see more of this in Workday training come next year. For this functional overview specifically, we want to focus on what our general audience needs to know about Workday. Next slide. Workday will offer many benefits and changes to our hire and onboarding process. For one, we will utilize one system to create positions, recruit, hire, and onboard rather than navigate multiple systems or, in some cases, conduct extra manual processes. Additionally, when a candidate enters personal demographic information in the recruiting process, that information flows into the employee record into Workday, eliminating the need for departments to re-enter data. This is a huge win since a single system results in more accurate data and reduces the risk of human error. Another benefit is Workday automatic notification and internal comment capabilities will reduce the need to send emails back and forth. In fact, you will also have an archive of all activities and communications. Another key call out is how Workday handles employees who are transferring from another partner institution. They will be processed as a change job transaction rather than a hire transaction, which allows their employee information to flow seamlessly. Next, we're going to go over the key benefits for managers and new hires. Managers are also involved in the process. For managers, they can enter personalized welcome messages that the employee sees. They can identify and share names of people that the employee can see as people who they should meet. They also will have an onboarding checklist, which will simplify the management of onboarding tasks. Managers will receive Workday notifications throughout the process, helping to ensure no candidates are feeling lost or any step is missed. For incoming hires, they can use their version of onboarding, the onboarding checklist to accomplish action items. They'll have access to the onboarding dashboard where they can, amongst other things, view their tailored welcome message, making the onboarding process feel more personalized, receive reminders to complete important action items, and see a list of people if provided by their manager. Being in Workday early is also a great way for new hires to get familiar with the system. Overall, these benefits will make the onboarding process much more efficient for departments, managers, and new hires. So let's discuss the roles involved in the hire and onboarding process. First, we have the HR analyst. The HR analyst serves as the initiator at the unit or department level. This role is similar to the PHR creator. Second, the I-9 partner. The I-9 partner could be the same person acting as the HR analyst, but it could be a separate individual who is given the I-9 partner role. This role completes section 2 of the I-9. Third, the HR partner. The HR partner serves as an approver or at the unit or department level. The role is similar to a PHR approver. And last, the manager. The manager is a supervisor and has the responsibility for the supervisory organization. They set the onboarding welcome message, they receive onboarding checklists, and are notified of new hires within the organization. Now let's look at what the managers see when their new hire is scheduled to be onboarded. Managers will primarily receive onboarding information and tasks in their Workday inbox. Managers will receive reminders to complete certain tasks, most of which occur outside of the system through their inbox. They'll receive the onboarding setup, which is what we'll demo today, and the onboarding checklist, review documents. Managers can also access the onboarding status summary. A manager can view all completed and in-progress tasks for their employees in one view. We'll cover this in the next few slides. And we're already at our first demo, which will be to show you the onboarding setup. The manager will get a setup in their Workday inbox after hire approvals are complete, called onboarding setup. This step gives the manager the opportunity to set a custom welcome message and write department-specific instructions if they choose. They can also select important people for the new hire to meet and helpful contacts. This information will flow into the onboarding dashboard for the new hire. If a manager does not complete this step, the step will auto-submit and move the onboarding process forward. Let's watch the demo.
In this demonstration using the Workday training environment, I will be logging in as Martha Manager. Martha is really excited. Why? She has a new hire named Nevin Newby who is starting soon, and she wants to set him up for success. What better way than the onboarding setup in Workday? Onboarding setup gives managers the opportunity to provide a new hire with a custom welcome message or department-specific instructions if they choose. They can also select important people for the new hire to meet and helpful contacts. This information will flow into Workday's onboarding dashboard for the new hire. If the manager does not complete this step within 3 days, this step will auto-submit and move the onboarding process forward with default information. All right, let's get started. To access the onboarding setup step, Martha will go to her Workday inbox. Let's see if we can find the onboarding setup for hire inbox item. This step is sent to a manager's inbox once all of the approvals for hiring are completed. It looks like they have, because there it is. Onboarding setup for hire for employee Nevin Newby. Let's click it. The onboarding setup step displays with a default message. This is the message an employee will see if the manager does not customize it. You can add any text here, like a custom welcome message or department-specific instructions. Martha likes this message as it is, but we'll add Nevin's name for that extra special touch. Scrolling down, you can see the People to Meet section. This is where you can add recommended people to meet. The new hire will see this list, as well as the message above in their onboarding dashboard. This step encourages a new hire to meet the individuals you select. You can search for an individual by name, by your team, supervisor organization, or by manager. Maria wants Nevin to meet a specific talent director. Let's add Toshiro Talent. There's Toshiro, and you can see he's been added to the people to meet. If we wanted, we could add more people to this list. You can also choose to notify the people you select with a Workday notification. You can notify people by leaving the Notify checkbox checked. You can customize the notification subject and notification message, or leave it with the standard message. You can also choose not to send a notification by deselecting the Notify checkbox. You can complete this same exercise in the Helpful Contacts section. Arnold Analyst already shows up, but we can remove him or add more helpful contacts to this list. Once you're happy with your welcome message, people to meet, and helpful contacts, you can click Submit. You'll see a confirmation message indicating that the event was successfully submitted. Great! But what happens if Martha hadn't completed the onboarding setup within 3 days? If the onboarding setup step is not submitted by the manager in time, it will auto-submit. This way, the onboarding process can continue to move forward. The new hire will still receive the default message and contact selections. Let's actually look at Nevin's onboarding dashboard now that the step has been completed. As you can see, there's the message from Martha, the people to meet, and helpful contacts. Thanks for watching as we walked through how a manager completes the onboarding setup for a new hire.
Okay. Next, we go over the manager's onboarding checklist. The onboarding checklist is a great way for managers to navigate through the onboarding process for their new hire. Workday will send the checklist as an inbox item automatically as part of the onboarding business process. As you can see in the screenshot, the checklist is an attachment that can be downloaded. This document helps managers ensure they are taking the necessary steps to make new employees feel welcome and provide a smooth transition. Each partner institution, UMCP, UMES, UMCES, and USMO, can have their own version of the onboarding checklist, but typically it includes tasks that are completed outside of Workday. You'll see a submit button. Managers will click submit to confirm they've downloaded and read through the checklist. The onboarding status summary is the report that managers, HR analysts, and HR partners can run to check on their new hire process through the onboarding steps. This report will show new hires that are in the supervisor organizations that these roles support, i.e., managers can only see the new hires that they supervise. The employee's perspective. Now it's the part of the functional overview that I imagine people are most excited about. What the new hires experience is for the onboarding in Workday. New team members will be able to update their personal information, view important documents, and legal notices all in a single system. Moreover, the new hire will be able to access Workday before their hire date to start completing these tasks. The way this will work is that a new hire will get an email to set up their single sign-on credentials, which is how they will access Workday. New hire tasks are based off employee types and job family groups. But here, you can see the list of employees' self-service activities in Workday. The new hire can be prompted to complete any of these tasks as it applies for them. Example tasks include entering personal related information like contact information or demographic information, entering other information like Section 1 of I-9 and their retirement elections. An onboarding checklist to do is sent to the new hire at the same time the manager gets their checklist. The step has general onboarding steps and guidelines. Departments can supplement this checklist with their own specific steps outside of Workday, and managers can put additional notes in the onboarding setup. Different tenant partners, UMCP, UMCES, UMES, and USMO, can have their own customized version of this step. When logging into Workday, new hires will see an announcement on their homepage with a quick link to their onboarding dashboard. The dashboard is a one-stop shop, personalized onboarding experience. New employees can use Workday to view their tailored welcome message, receive reminders to complete important action items, or to see a list of people to meet provided by their manager.
In this demonstration, we are logging in as a new hire named Nevin Newby in a Workday training environment. As a new hire, Nevin just got access to Workday and has logged in for the first time. How exciting! On the home page, Nevin can see that he already has a few items awaiting his action. He can also see that there's an announcement. In this announcement, he can see the hyperlink to onboarding. This is one way to access onboarding helpful links and tasks. He could also get to the onboarding dashboard through all apps above. Finally, he could also navigate to his inbox. Let's see where the hyperlink takes us. We've landed on the onboarding dashboard. Here, Nevin can see a message from his manager, Martha Manager. He can also see there are people to meet and helpful contacts available. In addition, you can see there is a Getting Started section that includes how many tasks Nevin has ready and completed. Looks like his status is at 0%, so we should get started. Let's click on the 2 items to start the onboarding process. We are navigated to the inbox where we have inbox items. Let's have Nevin update his contact information. This includes adding and confirming his address and his email address. We'll click Submit. Nevin receives a confirmation message that the event was submitted. That was easy. Now, let's check the other inbox item. This inbox item prompts Nevin to update his personal information. You'll see, after legal and preferred name, that other personal information can be completed, like his gender, date of birth, race, ethnicity, citizenship status, sexual orientation, gender details, and pronouns. Each section includes details, including the visibility and usage of each piece of information. Personal information will be visible only to certain central roles in Workday, for example, HR. The exception to this is for your pronouns, which you can opt in to make your pronouns public to anyone with access to Workday. Adding race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, gender details, and pronouns are optional in Workday. I already added Nevin's information, so we'll click Submit. Nevin receives a confirmation message that the event was submitted. And hey, did you notice on the left that the inbox now says Refresh? Let's reload the inbox by clicking Refresh. Since we submitted the personal information and contact information steps, we get the next few onboarding steps to complete. For Nevin, this will be the Complete Form I-9 and Change Benefits for Life event steps. Form I-9 is used to verify the identity and legal authorization to work of all paid employees in the United States. I've already filled this out for Nevin, so we can click Submit. Great, it's been submitted. That was only Section 1 of the I-9. Submitting Section 1 will route the I-9 for Section 2 to be completed by the I-9 partner. Nevin can now focus on the next step, which is the Change Benefits elections. The Change Benefits step will be available for those who are eligible to select mandatory retirement elections. Ahead of time, Nevin had received a questionnaire in Workday that asked him if he was enrolled in any closed state retirement or pension plan. Nevin indicated he was not. Now let's see what his mandatory retirement elections are. Let's click Let's Get Started to begin elections. On this page, Nevin sees that he has 2 options. Workday, by default, makes it so that he can enroll in the pension. However, if he wanted to waive enrolling in the pension plan, he could click Enroll. By clicking Enroll under the 403B Optional Retirement Plan, or ORP, he can elect in one of two other retirement options. Nevin wants that pension plan, so let's click Cancel. Because the pension plan is selected by default, he can go straight to Review and Sign. This next page is a summary page where he will read more about submitting the required enrollment documents. Nevin will need to print, sign, and scan his enrollment documents, which will be provided once he clicks I accept and submit. Nevin has submitted his elections. He can now click Done. We are returned to the home page. Once Nevin has completed the I-9 form and the mandatory retirement elections, the inbox will have a new set of onboarding tasks. You can see that these inbox items are now available since we've completed the I-9 and benefits enrollment. Let's check them out. The first item you see is prompting Nevin to review documents for the pension plan he elected. Nevin will need to print, sign, and scan his enrollment documents, which he can learn about by downloading the Pension Enrollment Packet. For the purposes of this demonstration, I'll click Submit so we can see the rest of the onboarding items that populate after this step is complete. Now that we've clicked Submit and refreshed the inbox, let's view the other items in the inbox. The next item is the Onboarding Checklist inbox item. The onboarding checklist has general onboarding steps and guidelines. Notice that it is a to-do item. To-do items are typically completed outside of Workday. The different tenant partners, UMCP, UMCs, UMES, and USMO, will have their own customized version of the onboarding checklist. Nevin will click Submit on this step once he has completed the checklist. Next, let's look at the Update My Talent profile inbox item. He can do this step through a guided editor which presets information in a step-by-step fashion, or by having all fields on one page. Let's click the Summary Editor so you can quickly see what's included in the talent profile. As you can see, the talent profile is used to record any awards and activities, certifications, education, job history, languages, publications, skills, training, and work experience. Nevin decides to do that later. Let's continue to review the other onboarding steps. I'll click the Change Emergency Contacts inbox item. Here is where Nevin can add his emergency contacts. After that, he can review the Veteran Status Identification inbox item. Nevin has the option to indicate whether he is a protected veteran. This is used for reporting purposes. He'll do the same exercise for self-identifying whether or not he has a disability or has a history/record of having a disability. Any optional answer here will be maintained confidentially and not be seen by anyone making personnel decisions. Now that we've reviewed all the inbox items, let's check the onboarding dashboard one more time. I'll navigate back to the home page by clicking the home page icon. The items awaiting Nevin's actions display below. There's also the announcement with the link to the onboarding dashboard. We'll click the announcement and then the hyperlink. How about that? Nevin's status has been updated. We completed 4 items and have 4 items left to submit. I think the onboarding dashboard is a great way for Nevin to track his progress. He has a few more items to work on, so we'll leave him to it. Good luck at the new job, Nevin, and thanks for watching.
Great. Thank you, Joe, for giving us that great information about the onboarding. So some of you on the call, how can you learn more about Elevate? There we go. Our recommendation is you get started with the elevate.umd.edu website. We have a bunch of resources on this site for you. As noted on the slide, you can see the program goals, some of our next steps, and the project history, which is the timeline. So if you're curious to know kind of where we are today and how much longer or what is going to be happening between now and the go live in July of 23, there's some great information there. The other item I want to point out is our frequently asked questions. We take some of the questions we get from sessions or events such as this, and we add them to the website to share more broadly. We also get other questions in through our ServiceNow portal, and we encourage you to use that as well if you have questions that come up. We also have a monthly newsletter. It is a subscribe only, so if you're interested, please go to the website and subscribe to the newsletter. It comes out typically on the last Tuesday of each month, and we try to keep you updated on sessions such as this. We feature our employees occasionally. Joe Windsor was one of our spotlight folks from a prior newsletter, which we're pretty excited about. But the newsletter is a great way to stay informed of what's happening with the program. We also have a glossary. I know some of the terms that we've used today and some of the terms that Joe mentioned might be new. And so we encourage you to revisit or to visit the glossary section so you can learn what some of the words of Workday are. And when available, we try to give a crosswalk back to the Maryland term. And lastly is the news and events section of the website. This is going to be where you can find future registrations for these functional overviews or any other events that we have coming up, like when we had our town halls, the newsletters, different kinds of things like that. So the news and events is a great place to stay informed. I also mentioned one other thing. I've noticed in some of the questions that people have been asking, am I going to get the slide deck? Or I couldn't take notes fast enough from what you guys were saying. We also post on the website under the learning and training, the functional overview content. We also have a YouTube channel if you want to subscribe to our Elevate YouTube channel, and the recordings will be posted there, not only of this entire webinar, but the individual demonstrations. And so please, I encourage you to check that out. One more note on this, we have to save the date. So our next functional overview is going to be June 23rd, and the topic will be the wonders of Workday. And the registration for that will be available on the website next week. So thank you. Karen.
Hi, everyone. So I have a poll question or 3 poll questions that would be great for you all to answer. So I'm going to go ahead and launch this poll. And I'll give everyone like 45 seconds to complete it. And then after this, we can launch into some Q&A. In the background, our team has been, you may have noticed that our team has been answering a lot of questions that have come in through the Q&A function on Zoom. So that has been going on in the background, but I can pose some questions to our resident expert, Joe, as well. I'm going to give this 10 more seconds. Thanks, everyone, for your participation in our poll. Okay, so If we can go to the next slide, and then we can jump into Q&A. So again, my name is Karen DSO. Gay introduced me earlier. I'm the communications lead, and I am just here to moderate some Q&A with Joe. So one question that we got that I think we get often in these functional overviews is, does the onboarding apply to student employees? So Joe, would you want to speak to, will student employees go through onboarding the same way through Workday that we just covered? I believe the answer is
yeah. I believe the answer is no.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
great. And then another question that we have is, I think we covered this in some of the demos, but just to reiterate, will new hires be able to upload I-9 IDs via Workday?
Yes, the I-9 process will happen totally within Workday.
Let me look and see some other questions. A big one is, will health benefits enrollment occur during onboarding? And does that happen in Workday, or is it still through the state's Workday instead?
That's actually going to happen outside of Workday. Health benefits is controlled by the Employee Benefits Division with the state of Maryland. So that the current state process will not change.
Another quick question is payment information and like payroll stuff that you do through the POSC today. Will you still complete that through the POSC in the future, like direct deposits and stuff like that?
Correct. That process will still stay outside of Workday. That'll still be done through the POSSC. Correct.
Great. Will there be an ability to push reminders to new employees on any onboarding checklist items that they have not completed?
Yes, employees will be reminded of any steps they haven't completed in their onboarding dashboard. Their managers will also be able to pull reports to see where they are in the process, where they are in the process.
Yeah, and also I just wanted to circle back on the student onboarding question. Our team in the background told me that if the answer is yes, the students will be, or student employees will be onboarded through Workday. So that's awesome. Let's see, we have a few more minutes. We also got some questions in about when we got a question in about when the financial functional overviews will start, and that one will actually come next month. So stay tuned. We'll be doing a session on work tags in Workday, which kind of starts getting into the chart of accounts in Workday. So that will be kind of a total 180 from a lot of these demos that we've been doing so far. Another question that we got is a few times is, will there be an ability for employees to change the language in Workday in onboarding? Because a lot of our employees, English is not their first language. I saw that, or I believe and confirmed with our team that the answer to that is that yes, you can change your language. Is that right, Joe, in Workday?
You can change the language, but there is some limitations to it, but language can be changed.
Yeah, I think I remember, or I recall that you can change the language, but some of the UMD terms and documents will not translate.
Correct.
We're at 11:43, so maybe we can do one more question. A question that we received was, will vaccine compliance be integrated into this portion of the process in Workday?
The process for uploading test results and vaccine confirmations will continue as in the current state, so they'll be maintained through the health center.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, so we're at 11:44. We have about 1 minute left of this session. I want to be respectful of everyone's time, but to the point of the Q&A session, our team has answered 36 questions in the back end throughout this session. And I'm sure in some instances we have to follow up with some of you, and we have all of your information. If you have not gotten an answer quite yet, we will follow up with you. So thank you everyone for your engagement. It's been really, really great. So thank you.
Thank you everyone for attending today. On behalf of myself, everybody that you've seen on screen today or heard from, and the entire Elevate team, we're encouraged by your participation and we look forward to seeing you at future events. So thank you.